Hi, everybody. This is Steve Storer at Restoring Hope Counseling and Coaching. I just want to thank you for taking the next few minutes to watch this video. And hopefully, you've watched the other videos in this series, and it is my hope that they've been helpful to you and that now you're better able to understand anxiety and you're applying some of the skills that I've already taught in this series. So, today, what I wanted to do in this video is really tie up some loose ends on anxiety and encourage you to take some next steps if needed to talk with somebody to help you manage your anxiety. So, in addition to the thinking patterns, which we've addressed in the last three videos, there's some other things that really kind of create some anxiety, and there are some other things I want to tell you about how you can manage your own anxiety and you can help yourself. These are all very simple, practical things. So let's get started on this. Number one, it is not uncommon for people who have anxiety to really begin to isolate themselves because they get nervous about maybe leaving their house or their apartments, or they get concerned that other people might think that they're nuts if they have anxiety. And the fact that many times in our culture we're kind of taught not to talk about our own struggles, although we're also taught to be helpful to other people as they talk to us about their struggles. And so when that happens, when people begin to isolate themselves, what is not uncommon is for people to start to feel some depression and start to feel more lonely, start to feel like they don't have any hope or that they're helpless. What's wrong with me? Kinds of thinking. And so typically what happens and what is not uncommon is when we see somebody come into our offices with anxiety, we also oftentimes will see depression, or at least some mild depression with that anxiety. And it simply seems to start because when people are anxious and they begin to isolate themselves, the depression seems to kind of slide on in there, many times very subtly. So one of the things you can do to help yourself manage anxiety is not let yourself get isolated. Tell other people, tell a few close friends that you're feeling really anxious, and hang out with them. Ask their advice about how you might be able to manage your own anxiety and decrease it. Pick some friends. These are people that know you better than I know you and know you pretty well, and they can offer some really strategic advice to really help you. So don't isolate yourself. Try to get out with some people. If you belong to a faith group, go to the faith group. If you belong to a community center, go do that. If you play sports and recreationally plays, let's say basketball or swim, then go do those things. So one of the practical things to do is don't isolate yourself. A second practical thing to do is really to begin to exercise, get out and do some exercise. And that might involve some heavy exercise like jujitsu or jazzercise or lifting weights, something like that. But you don't have to go to that extreme to help manage your own anxiety through exercise. You could go out and take a walk down to the stop sign and back. You can go into some of the trails around your community and hike outdoors. You can go swimming, even leisurely swimming will help you. And the reason why it'll help you is that when you or I are anxious, our body responds. One of the ways our body responds is through producing adrenaline. And adrenaline's great if you're exercising, but it stinks if you're sitting on your couch. And so simply getting out and doing some exercise and walking or jogging or doing whatever fits you will help your body absorb some of that adrenaline and you'll feel better. So don't isolate, get some exercise, journal perhaps about your thoughts and your anxiety. Do those kinds of things, and that will help you process some of your emotions and some of your thoughts around anxiety. So those are some very practical things to do to help yourself. A couple things to stop doing if you're doing them is monitor the amount of sugar or caffeine you are ingesting. Sugar and caffeine, of course, are both stimulants, and they are likely to increase your sense of anxiety, which actually may not be anxiety, just may be a physical reaction to caffeine and sugar. But then sometimes we start thinking about and creating our thought patterns around trying to assess what's going on in our body, which then can lead to anxiety. And as you can imagine, this is just a cascading event. And so pay attention to what you're eating what you're drinking. Alcohol converts into sugar as it metabolizes in your body. So if you're drinking alcohol, it can create more anxiety. Although initially with alcohol, you may feel like it is a sedative and it calms you down, which it probably does. But in the long run, it's going to convert into sugar, which may hype you up somewhat. So those are some really just practical, quick things to start doing that really to manage your anxiety. So hopefully this whole series has been helpful to you. I would love to have your comments on things you'd like to hear in the future from us. We'll start another series here in a week or so on another issue, and so hopefully that will be helpful to you. If you'd like more information about me or my company, Restoring Hope, and the other counselors that work with me, you can go to our website, which is www.restoringhopecc.com, and you'll be able to contact any of the therapists that are listed in our practice and our life transformation coach as well, or you can just send us a general message. So I look forward to hearing from you, and if we can be of any help to you or to other people that you know, please think of us, and we'd be happy to help. Please pass these videos on to other people that you may know that have some anxiety and that might benefit from watching these videos. So again, hope you have a great day. I look forward to hearing from you. Take care. Bye-bye.